Hey guys, it's Kayla and this is going to be my how I found out I was pregnant at 19 video. I'm going to be doing a whole separate video about how I told my parents and things like that, but this is just going to be sort of like how I found out, how I told my boyfriend, and then sort of things following that, things I've been feeling and things like that. First thing I want to be clear is that this was not a planned pregnancy, but that being said, it's not something that we're avoiding or anything like that. We're really happy about it. We're learning just to kind of embrace it. I think personally any child is just a gift. I've always known growing up that if I found out that I was going to be pregnant and I wasn't necessarily planning it, that I would still keep the baby, that any other option wasn't an option for me. So I guess I'll go ahead and start out with taking the test and everything. So leading up to my period, I had no clue that I was pregnant. I didn't have any like weird suspicions. I didn't have any like crazy symptoms like thrown at me. Like, I don't know. I just sort of woke up one day and I was like, you know, it's possible. It's possible I could be pregnant. Like, I guessed kind of, I don't know, like why not take a test? So I got up the morning that my period was actually due and I went ahead and took a test. The only symptoms that I had kind of leading up to taking this test was sore boobs, but that's totally normal for me. I know it's a total normal symptom to have like leading up to your period in general. And then also there was a day where I had this weird taste in my mouth. I would almost say it was like metallic-y. And I know that's normal for pregnancy symptoms, but I don't know, it was just like a day or like not even a day, like maybe a couple hours. So I kind of just brushed it off and didn't think much of it. But anyways, I went ahead and I got up that morning and I took a test. I just had one kind of chilling in my house anyway. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead. Let's take it. It'll probably be negative, but you know, I'm going to stress out about it anyways because I'm just one of those people that just worries about them being pregnant. Even if like I'd never even had sex for like those last 3 months or something, like I'm still like, like am I pregnant? So I went ahead and I took the test and sure enough, it was very positive. It turned positive pretty fast. I saw it and I was just like, wait, for real? I actually kind of completely thought that it was a false positive, that it was like a faulty test or something, because I remember when I took it out of the packaging, it already had the line there saying that it was negative. So I was kind of like, this is a weird test. But I was like, whatever, let's just take it. And so then it was positive and I was like, this test must be wrong. But I went ahead and I took a picture of that test and I sent it to my boyfriend and he was kind of like, what? He was like, I don't think he completely processed it or something. He was just kind of like, okay, relax, like take another test. And I was like, okay. So I ran to the store and I went ahead and bought 4 more tests. I bought 2 of like the first response test, which was like the line test, and then also 2 digital tests from Clear Blue. And went ahead, took one of the line tests and one of the digital tests right there, and instantly with the line test, like instantly it showed up and I was like, I'm totally pregnant. And then the digital one came out positive, went ahead and took another line one instantly again, and the other digital one, of course, again. So I'll go ahead and insert any pictures or like clips that I have of those in right now so you guys can see what I'm talking about, but like it was like not even faint, like very, very positive. When you first find out that you're pregnant, you're able to kind of calculate how far along you are and like when your ideal due date is going to be based off of the date of your last, or like the first day of your last period. So I went ahead and I did that and it said I was probably like 4 weeks and about a day or 2. So I was kind of like, okay, like yeah, whatever. At this point I hadn't told my parents yet, and then eventually I did tell them maybe a week after I found out. That, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and put into a whole different video and everything, but once they found out, I went to a doctor and went ahead and got blood tests done. They went ahead and did a urine test first to make sure that I was pregnant, and of course that came out positive. And they went ahead and then did a blood test, and they called me back the next day with the results and told me that I was about 3 to 4 weeks along, which clearly when I went in for that test, I was thinking I was probably more so around 5 weeks along because it was a whole week after I had already found out that I was pregnant, which was around 4 weeks. Obviously, like I said, this wasn't necessarily planned, so it wasn't like when I first found out that I was thrilled about it, but I was definitely excited in the sense that I know that I've always wanted to have kids. I know I always want to be a mom. I know that like in my relationship I'm really, really happy, and like this is something we've learned to just come to accept, and like we're really excited now. But it was hard to be excited over when there's like this idea in the back of my head saying like, oh, like what if like something's wrong in the pregnancy, and like since you thought you were farther along but the blood work saying something else, like just so many bad things. So after that, I was able to actually move in with my boyfriend, and now we are actually fiancés. We're gonna get married soon. But so once we moved in together, we went ahead and made an appointment for an OBGYN to kind of get some more blood work done and kind of obviously just get some prenatal care. And we went ahead and actually had that appointment yesterday. So we went to that appointment, everything was good, and actually at this doctor's office, they don't do any ultrasounds until around 20 weeks. So we went ahead and made an appointment at Planned Parenthood to get an ultrasound done just because I needed to see like the heartbeat, and I needed to know that the baby, like how far along I actually was, because at this point I was thinking I was about 7 weeks, but obviously the blood results from the other time were measuring like a whole week behind, so I wasn't sure if I was 7 weeks or if I was 6 weeks or if I wasn't having a healthy pregnancy in general. So we went ahead and went to Planned Parenthood to get that ultrasound done, and they went ahead and told me that I was actually measuring 7 weeks and 3 days. So I was actually now farther along than I initially was told, which was really great to hear, because at least that meant that, you know, the baby's healthy and it's growing. So I'll go ahead and insert the picture of the ultrasound and how that all went so you guys can see that for yourselves. We are measuring, I believe, 1.25 centimeters, which is really good for a baby that far along. I'm so sorry if it's noisy. I am in front of a really busy street and there's a bunch of trucks going by right now, so if it gets a little noisy, just ignore it. But anyways, now I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of talk about each week leading up to now and kind of how I felt and what symptoms I've had. So for my 5th week of pregnancy, that's sort of when I started tracking like how my symptoms were and things like that. The big symptoms that I had was just that I was really tired quite often, and then also that I started peeing a lot more and that my boobs were still sore, as I mentioned, all that are really normal symptoms. And then for the 6th week, I was having a lot of nausea as well as some bloating, and that bloating has continued through until now, and it is the worst. It's like so bad to the point where like I've already had to buy clothes that are like a size up, because regular clothes, my jeans, it's not happening. So nausea and bloating, and that carried through until the 7th week, as well as some fatigue and dizziness, and then also some aversions. So initially my cravings for like the first couple of weeks were pickles and salt and vinegar chips. That was like all I wanted. I also really liked ketchup. Super weird. It's like anything sweet made me really nauseous, like ice cream and things like that, which is so weird because if you know me, I love ice cream. Like, it is my ride or die. I have a dairy allergy, but I still eat ice cream. But now it's like I don't want to eat anything. Pickles sound awful to me. Just all food, nope. Like, but I'm starving all the time. Like, I'm so hungry, but like nothing sounds good to eat. And when I start eating, I'm instantly just like full, and I'm like, nope, I'm done. So that's kind of what's going on with that. But other than that, those are really all of my symptoms. I haven't had much of anything else. Everything kind of fluctuates at this point. But yeah, so that's everything for this video. Like I said, I will go ahead and do a whole how my parents reacted to me telling them that I was pregnant, because that will be an interesting story, as well as like other family members, and then also our friends, and how John's family, who is my fiance, how his family reacted and things like that.